Petaluma Pete now has a blog for kids only on Petaluma 360.
This is for kids only.
This is for kids only.
This is for kids only.
Hey kids, Petaluma Pete here. We're in downtown Petaluma today, and it is so early the sun isn't even out yet, and I'm not awake yet, but we're going to be heading for City Hall today, and this is a very special edition of Petaluma Pete's Kids Corner because it's the 25th installment. So instead of learning a new word, let's learn a number. That number is 350. Why 350? Let's go to the City Hall and find out why. Come with me. Now, kids, I thought we were going to Petaluma City Hall just to be a part of this volunteer landscaping project, but upon arrival, we encountered this big sign with a huge 350 on it, and hundreds of people all wearing these Rebuilding Together Petaluma t-shirts, and listening to adults giving speech after speech after speech about the number 350. What's the big deal about 350? Was it because there was only enough room there for 350 people? Nah, 350 isn't the City Hall address. That number is 11. So what does 350 mean, kids? Oops, no time to ask now. The speeches are over and the big crowd of adults has now broken into smaller groups, and they now have shovels and picks and rakes. And this is when we learned that the orange shirts were for the group leaders and the green shirts were for the worker bees. And work they did. The whole idea here, kids, was to convert the lawn surrounding City Hall into a water-saving, drip-irrigated permaculture garden in 3 steps. Step 1 was smoothing the ground and clearing out all the years and years of sticks and stones and roots and hills and holes, and trimming out the sidewalk and pulling weeds and taking out old bushes. And it was amazing to watch how a community can come together. But we still needed to know what the number 350 was all about. But everybody was so busy, we didn't want to bother anybody, so we helped as they started on step number 2. A technique called mulching, where these big, long rolls of cardboard are hauled in and picked up by these really strong adults and carried to the ground that's been cleared and then spread out like you were laying floor covering in your house or rolling out a welcome carpet for a special event like the Academy Awards or something. What does the number 350 have to do with any of this? Well, kids, we finally learned that this event was only one of more than 5,000 International Day of Climate Action events going on at the same time all around the world, publicizing the urgent need to reduce greenhouse gases below 350 parts per million to avoid a global warming disaster. According to 350.org, scientists say that 350 parts per million CO2 in the atmosphere is the safe limit for humanity. And we are already over that at 387. And because it could take years to turn this number around, many of these adults you see here doing all this good work here may not even be around to see the result of this global 350 initiative. But you might very well still be here, kids, so you can pass this sort of thinking on to your kids and help bring that number down to under 350 where it belongs. It sure did feel like 350 people when all these adults took a long, deserved break for lunch and, in some cases, depending on what kind of shape they were in before they started about 5 hours ago, either walked or limped over to the food tables. So many people, so little time, and where is Petaluma Pete's tip jar when he really needs it? Anyway, after lunch, already a little tired and sore, our 350 volunteers set to work with step number 3. filling wheelbarrows with wood chips, also called mulch, and then they pushed these wheelbarrows over to the cardboard sheets that were now covering the old lawn, and then dumped the mulch on top of the cardboard sheets, while other volunteers filled more wheelbarrows with this rich black soil. And they pushed these wheelbarrows over to planters that had been built earlier, and while all this was going on, we saw other volunteers digging holes to plant new trees, where they uncovered this dazed and confused worm and this busy ladybug, both of whom were really happy to see somebody finally doing something to improve their neighborhood. And plantings included vegetables and fruit trees, as well as habitat and native plants that require very little water. Kids, back when Petaluma Pete was a kid, most adults didn't think about the environment, which is part of the problem now. So ask your adults to visit 350.org to learn how you can help bring that number back down to 350 and help make your kids' future a healthier place to live. Well, that about wraps it up for this special edition of Kids Corner, kids. And as usual, until next time, don't forget to be nice to everyone, listen to your teachers, and eat more veggies.